Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots. I'm a useful idiot, and today I would like to talk about private prisons. I know it's not on the radar for a lot of Americans, surprisingly. I know more people that are aware of FEMA camps than are aware of the fact that the prison industry is slowly being privatized, which is a pretty sinister development in America, particularly when you look at all the details, and we'll get into that. Now I want to talk to you about private prisons in the context of a real paradigm conceptual shift in America, both as to what the role and function should be of policing, and also what the role and function should be of our military. So there's huge shifts going on, and unfortunately they overlap and interphase, and that's part of the development. So in this clip, I'm going to talk about private prisons. So we have two major corporations in America that run private prisons now. One is the GEO Group, and the other is the Corrections Corporation of America. And Corrections Corporation of America has gotten very aggressive recently. They've reached out to 48 states and as part of a $250 million plan to own existing prisons or manage their operations. And it's a pretty lucrative business, so you can understand why they're interested. The industry made $2.9 billion in 2010, and there's 6 million people in prison currently. And CCA, or the Corrections Corporation of America, currently has 65 facilities, and the GEO Group owns 118. But the GEO Group also includes private prisons in the UK, Australia, and South Africa. So interesting to have private prison groups that operate internationally. And of course, these private prisons have a lot of interest in keeping people incarcerated. So they're lobbying against any changes in drug laws and immigration laws, which fill their private prisons, and that's where they make their money. In fact, Corrections Corporation of America wants a 20-year contract and assurances that the states will maintain a 90% occupancy rate. So they want those prisons filled. So and it's kind of interesting that the private prison industry cashes in on immigration, and we have these FEMA camps supposedly being created for immigration problems, and yet the immigration flow is practically at a standstill now with the economic collapse in America. A lot of immigrant labor is heading back to Mexico, so that scenario is really kind of perplexing. But we're seeing all the other obvious changes to the militarization of the police, and now we're seeing the collapse of state and municipal budgets. So that's making it very attractive for them to sell out to the private prison industry. And these private prisons also create a lot of jobs in a lot of rural communities. So it's very tempting and alluring development. But I would say we could do without these kind of jobs in America. But I'm sure this industry is growing in leaps and bounds. But here's where things get particularly sinister. And this is why this is a story to me, and a very important story. And that's the fact that these private prisons are now being used for slave labor for the military-industrial complex. They pay 17 cents an hour. And for Lockheed Martin and Raytheon, two of the biggest military contractors and weapons manufacturers in the world, a wide array of things are built for them by slave labor in prisons and private prisons. All military helmets, ammunition belts, ID tags, bulletproof vests, night vision goggles, body armor, uniforms, tents, bags, all made in prison. And also electronic components for guided missile systems and F-15 fighter jets and Cobra helicopters. These are also made in prisons. So how diabolical is that we have our prison system that incarcerates Americans who provide slave labor to the military-industrial complex just mind-boggling. Mind-boggling that these kind of connections can be made in America. So very sinister connection there, to be sure. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, using American prison slave labor for the military-industrial complex. Feel free to check it out some more. Everybody should know about it.